How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI, which ended up having a green day, not a big one, but it was up just over 3% on the day. It's about time for an update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, we want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.78, being up 3.21%. On the low, it tested $5.62, and then on the high, testing $5.92. So when we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 28.866 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 40.112 million shares. So we have below average volume on the day, but we still saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 41.15. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So the price action that we're seeing from SOFI is some serious consolidation. Like I said in my previous video, as long as we could stay above $5.30, then SOFI will look good, and it's done exactly that. It ended up testing a low at $5.62 for the day, but as far as for the high at $5.92, this shows us $6. There is some resistance here. We have some selling pressure, but if we are able to break above this level, then I want to see a move to the 21-day EMA, which is at $6.23, because we could see right here that is just consolidating, and we want to look forward to the next breakout, and hopefully that is to the upside. But again, as long as SOFI is able to stay above 530, it's going to continue to look good. So if it wants to consolidate going into tomorrow again, and let's say if we decide to have a lower low, let's say around a 550, that is still not bad, and it does set itself up very well going into next week. But if we have strength inside of these markets, let's see if we can get that move up, get past $6, and then go from there. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings, we don't see any new or closed positions, but we do have some changes. So we have the Bank of New York Mellon that ended up reducing their position, as you can see, a value change of negative 54.46%. And we also see Fidelity here that reduced their position by 51.87%. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 26.80%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 4.14 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 5.9 million, updated 14 minutes ago, and then for the short vol fee rate, it is at 2.19%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 21st, it was at 20.11, and then for the close of the 22nd, being at 26.80, and then taking a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 18.04%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see on the inflows at 30.51 million, and then on the outflows at 29.53 million. So we had an inflow day. Take a look at the breakdown. On the large, it was 10.89 million. On the medium, it was 12.52 million, and then on the small, it was 7.10 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 5.67 million, and then on the medium, it was 14.48 million, and then on the small, it was 9.38 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for June the 23rd, which is today, we had that inflow of 5.22 million. But for the past 5 trading days, we've had 4 outflow days. That is crazy. When we analyze numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.15%. And this is not too bad for a stock like SOFI. It does trade at relatively high volume. But like I was saying inside of the technicals, it just looks like consolidation that is going on. I'll talk about it further in the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for SOFI when it comes to the price action, so we have the 21-day EMA, which is at $6.23. The high of the day was at $5.92, and the low of the day was at $5.62. So what does all of this mean? Price action on the day was still below the 21-day EMA, so there is some weakness. But one thing that we can put a shining light on is that it ended up seeing a high at $5.92. So that's a higher high from the previous day. So what it's looking like, we will have some resistance when it comes to $6. But if we can get that break above $6, that's where I want to see us testing that 21-day EMA at 623. If SOFI is able to pull this off, we turn things around and it starts going on a strong uptrend, and then we could see what it could do from there. We also do know that $7 is a psychological area. And if you guys remember what I was saying in my previous video, as long as SOFI can stay above $5.30, things are going to continue to look good. And it's done exactly that. So seeing this consolidation is very healthy. Now we want to look for the breakout. And the breakout, I think, would have to come if we have a strong day inside of the market. Right now, the market has been very range bound. But the moment we can break out of that range to the upside, I'm looking for SOFI to move up further, just in my personal opinion. But if it decides to pull back, please keep an eye on that 530 level, especially if you want to play it to the downside. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see a little bit of activity, but there's no new or closed positions. Instead, we have institutions who have actually cut back on their positions because we see that the value changes are negative. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And it's part of the reasons why you want to keep a close eye on this play, because I do see there could be opportunities for traders. And for all of my investors out there, just make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence. We are still in a bear market. We are still in a high inflationary environment. But one thing that we do know for a fact, SOFI has been showing a lot of strength. Like when we were taking a look at the order flow, for the past 5 trading days, 4 of them have been outflow days, and today was the inflow day. So it was great to see that SOFI has held up very well despite all of this volatility, and I want to see some more going into Friday. If we can have a close above $6, that looks really good for the stock. But if we don't end up doing that, I don't want to see a test to at least $6. Come on, SOFI, show us what you got. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be talking to you guys real soon, and let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow.